Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. Definitely missed you guys. I know it's only been a day. It's only been a day. Hope you guys enjoyed your Monday, Tuesday, and now you're ready for your Wednesday with Eric, the Wrestling Laureate Podcast. You trust with all your, with all your heart and soul to give you all the cool wrestling facts and all the cool storylines, promotions, et cetera, in terms of the professional wrestling industry. I love you guys too. So, thank you for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today. First, we're going to start off with our WWE NXT review, and then we're going to move on to our AEW Dynamite preview. And recently, it's been said that Kenny Omega has a major announcement that's going to happen tonight. Uh, you know, 9 times out of 10, this conversation isn't going to go, the way I'm anticipating it maybe to go. Like maybe like perhaps, maybe something in terms of retirement. And like I said, I know AEW is airing, as we speak. So this comes, but let's just play around with it. We don't know what, well, I don't know what Kenny Omega is going to, like I said, whenever I do this show, I don't check Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, social media platforms, YouTube, Google, whatever. So I'm in the dark just as much as you guys are. So it's going to be interesting to see what Kenny Omega has to say. Ultimately, I kind of want to kind of compare it to if Kenny Omega retires, what does it really mean for AEW in terms of um ratings and stuff like that? Because I know recently they've been in a bad trend with ratings going down, and I know that they're kind of hanging on. They're kind of hanging on by a thread. If they want to compete with the WWE, if you want to be one of those second-rate like wrestling promotions that TNA was to WWE for the longest time in the early 2000s, by all means, like just keep doing what you're doing, bro. You're doing great. And lastly, we're gonna finish off with hot seat cool beans, where I'm gonna go through the 12 participants of the women that are competing in the NXT. That competed in the combine. Ultimately, they're going to fight in a tournament. Last six participants will fight in a six-pack ladder match at NXT Battleground at the UFC Apex Center. So yeah, it should be pretty awesome. Hope you guys stay through the for the better part, the most part, hopefully the whole show, absolutely the whole show. So before we move on, I want to remind you guys that we always looking for tips and donations. We get a number of questions from viewers like you that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you guys to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. So just put your questions up on top so I can see it. Tell me what you like about the podcast. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to further elaborate on or talk about. Let me know some of your predictions. Put it in the chat. Tell me how you feel like AEW Dynamite's going to go, and how you guys felt about WWE NXT. Definitely a lot of fun when the audience interacts. So once again, it really does help the show, guys. At the GSMC Sports Network, we love peace, love, and positivity all the way. And again, the link is the GSMC podcast.net. So don't be afraid to hit up that tips and donations link, 110%. So. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our first segment. We're going to talk about our NXT review. So WWE NXT preview was kind of like a huge from WWE NXT Spring Break in week two. I keep wanting to say night two because of WrestleMania and stuff like that. But ultimately, I felt like it was like a huge like rebound after that. A lot of implications from that pay-per-view. A lot of reasons heading toward the UFC for Battleground. We saw Wesley versus Josh Briggs. Wesley made his return in NXT last spring break in week two. So I thought that was pretty cool. Wesley, like we mentioned before in the prior podcast, is definitely the longest reigning WWE NXT North American champion. So I thought, he's coming back and he's coming back with a vengeance because he went out with a major injury. Like he said he couldn't feel from like his like under like his I think he said his midsection region where he couldn't feel his legs. Thought he was gonna have to retire from wrestling all in all. And kind of like, that kind of injury is just it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. A lot of superstars have suffered that, like Darren Drozdov, he's paralyzed, paraplegic. So I don't know, wrestling, it's not just, your standard men's soap opera. It's, there's a lot of physicality that goes along with it. it's sports entertainment, so it's at its best, it's at its peak. I don't think anything. I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart that I love watching sports. Love watching sports. Love getting excited about sports. But probably one of the most exciting things is professional wrestling. It's an art form. It definitely has an aesthetic beauty to it. Definitely something to be appreciated. So, wrestling fans out there, you understand my vibe. Those who aren't wrestling fans just yet, just, give it a chance. That's all you gotta do. Give it a chance. All right, moving on. So we have Josh and Ivar brawl out after the match. Of course, we saw Wesley pick up the win. Honestly, I kind of didn't like Wesley picking up the win here against Josh Briggs. Wesley, like I said before, came back from a major injury. Definitely should have maybe took a little more time getting used to inside the ropes before he takes down a guy like Josh Briggs because for the longest time I felt like maybe WWE NXT were kind of grooming Josh Briggs to, fight Obafemi again for the North American Championship. So now you have all these guys going out. You have Wesley, Ivar, the Viking Raider, and then you have Josh Briggs fighting at the end of the match, fighting for a chance to fight the North American champion. A lot of scrutiny, a lot of craziness going on. It wouldn't surprise me at WWE NXT Battleground. We can see like perhaps a fatal four-way match. I think that would be pretty good. I think that would be a really, I think that would be money idea. But, it should be interesting to see what Ava does into, the general manager of the WWE NXT, how she goes about this. And of course, the general manager, HBK, Shawn Michaels, and William Regal. So, should be interesting. Next, we saw Shayna Baszler fighting Carmen Petrovich. And we saw this match ultimately ended what we kind of thought it was going to be. When Natalia fought Lola Vice at the UFC Apex, um, she almost got the win, and I felt like she was going to win, but it was Shayna Baszler that choked out Carmen Petrovich that kind of distracted her. And, obviously as a concerned friend, Natalia was like, "All right, like what are you doing to my friend?" Like, so then she went to go back her up, but ultimately it was kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like a huge, kind of like a trap. Lola Vice was able to pick up the victory, knocked out Natalia. Bam, she was down. That was it. UFC Underground, first ever women's, that in the books. But ultimately, I want to say that Shayna Baszler is kind of not using this as like an excuse to like get back up on top, but I think WWE definitely wants to make her like one of the like I don't want to like one of the head honchos in terms of the NXT Women's Division, which honestly is definitely something that WWE should consider because of how talented Shayna Baszler is. She has an MMA background, kickboxing, Muay Thai, judo, kickboxing. Like she's done it all. She's done it all. And she's fought in the UFC before the way WWE kind of handled her. She's a two-time NXT Women's Champion, but I feel like WWE definitely could have, found a way to kind of utilize her more to the point where she can be at or would have maintained a level of success if WWE would have pushed her right. But ultimately that didn't really happen. So Shayna Baszler tapped out Carmen. That was the end of that match. Next, we have Axiom and Frazier. Axiom and Frazier, you saw the OC, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows come up and try to do the too sweet with them. Axiom and Frazier said, hell no. Hell no, this is the NXT. This is the tag team division. We're cutthroat. We're not making friends with anybody. Like what Triple H said there, Seth Rollins, if you're not making enemies, you're not being successful. You're not doing your job right. And I feel like I don't know if that sat really well with Axiom and Frazier in terms of this, but so I saw the spunkiness of it. It was cool. I thought it was cool, but ultimately I like Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. So the fact the fact that they didn't acknowledge the Good Brothers, I thought was kind of bad. But that's just me. Like I said before, it was probably just to kind of build up this momentum for a potential match against each other, fighting for the WWE NXT World Tag Team titles. So ultimately, for the best for the OC, but in the moment, I was like, "Damn, why you dissing the OC like that, bro? You don't do that. Come on, Axiom. Come on, Nathan Frazier. What are you doing?" Next, we saw how Fallon Henry dropped Thea Hale at WWE NXT Spring Break in week 2. That was pretty crazy. And she was seen backstage talking to all the superstars, all the women superstars in the division. Ultimately, she said Fallon comes first. Fallon Henry comes first. And then you also saw the woman combine. The woman combine, I gotta be honest, all the little drills that they were having and stuff like that. It was it's different. It was cool. I could see how you were trying to connect that to the NFL audience, trying to get people on board with these draft picks, like the way you sit down during the NFL draft and you're like, oh my God, I really hope this guy gets drafted. I saw him in the combine. I saw him ran a 4.5 in the sprints and stuff like that. But ultimately, like I kind of, I kind of didn't like it. But that's just me. That's just me. I'm a wrestling fan. They showed highlights of Thea Hale, like, pushing the little Gertie that, you see offensive linemen doing and defensive linemen. And, dude, it was cool. It was cool. It was mellow. I'm not trying to hate on it. Not trying to hate on it. A little silly, but it's different. So perhaps maybe they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. Maybe me talking about this right now, showing you guys my disapproval, showing you guys reasons to, kind of get hyped about it in terms of like a meteor rain. But honestly, I feel like it's done its job. So, but we found the 12 participants. We're going to talk about it a little later, but let's go ahead and move on. We saw Tyson and Tyreek fighting the Heritage Cup champs, the no quarter catch crew, without Drew Gulak, which is sad story, but well, we'll move on. We'll move on. So then the D'Angelo family came out and they wanted revenge, and they said that, hey, honestly, guys, the referee isn't coming out today, so we have to find a new we have to find a new referee for this match. Ultimately, it was Stacks. Stacks came out. He was the special guest referee. He kept it. No, he didn't really keep it fair. I lied. I lied. I'm just kidding. No, but Stacks basically, he helped the North Dakota Catch Crew achieve absolutely nothing. I feel like this is going to lead up to like the Tony D'Angelo against one of the members of the No Quarter Catch Crew for that Heritage Cup. Honestly, I like it. If I would see the title or the trophy change hands, I would love to see the D'Angelo family holding it. So, definitely kind of, sporting for the D'Angelo family right there. Next, you saw Ariana Grace against Mi Chin. Ariana Grace, although she is very successful, she is very talented. She just can't really get it done in the ring. Like, she comes out walking out like a princess, kind of like a Disney princess. When I saw her entrance, I got, major like Disney princess kind of vibes, and I was like, man, that ain't gonna last in the WWE. Hopefully they don't cut her. I love the way she's like, she's with that other superstar that she's trying to make more womanly, I guess. But ultimately, Mitchin showed that why she's a complete badass. She's part of the OC as well. She was able to beat Ariana Grace, building up momentum. But Gigi Nolan. There we go. Gigi Nolan is the name of the girl that that they're trying to make a little more girly. But hey, next, you saw SummerSlam in August 3rd. Tickets are going to be on sale this Thursday in Cleveland, Ohio. Definitely something y'all should consider, especially if you are in the area. It's going to be an amazing match. I kind of put up my 3 predictions on my YouTube shorts. Go ahead and check it out. Not going to spoil it right here. So if you want to know, you're going to have to find out. You're going to have to search for those shorts, baby. Anyways, that was a bad accent, but promise you guys, it's all for a reason. So next, we have the Supernova Sessions. What was in the envelope with Trick Williams? It was kind of funny because when they brought out the envelope, a lot of people saw kind of like a Maury, kind of Jerry Springer, like Montel, like Dr. Phil, like are you the father and stuff like that, and like the crowd was absolutely going nuts. It was pretty cool. Like, to be honest, I heard that and I was like, oh my God, like these guys are, and even Trick Williams said it like himself. He was like, I am not the father. Like, he played on into it. I think that's the reason why a lot of people love Trick Williams, except especially me. I love Whoop That Trick. That's my guy. It showed a picture of Noam Dar losing to Trick Williams. Noam Dar was saying this was the match that kind of got you to propel and kind of helped you jump up and step up into your game and to become the man you are today. Challenge Ilya Dragunov for that WWE NXT championship. So in a way, I pushed you no matter what you say, no matter what you think. But ultimately, the match was botched because Noam Dar's foot was under the bottom rope. Usually in the WWE, that signifies kind of like a rope break. But so then that kind of started, and then Trick Williams came out. He was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, hold on! Like, we don't have to go through all this. Why are we going through all this unnecessary stuff, man? If you want to challenge me for the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Championship, Noam, just ask, man. Just ask." So then ultimately, and then you saw Lash Legend and you saw, Trick Williams, flirting like, they always do. Kind of like high school, kind of like high school lovebirds. Am I a dork to be like, oh, I hope they really make it through high school sweethearts? No, I'm just kidding. Like, but I think, they're, the romantic aspect of it is, kind of pretty cool. I know past in the WWE, the whole storylines between romantic love, sometimes it hits, sometimes it don't. Most of the time it doesn't really hit. So, like I said before. And he was like, Trick ain't that daddy. Like, I don't know. It was pretty cool. It was pretty badass. So then you saw Fallon Henry fight Kaylani Jordan. Henry got the win, kind of building up momentum for her. I feel like she's going to be one of the last ones left and fighting in that 6-pack ladder match between the women for the WWE NXT Women's North American Championship at the UFC Apex Center in Nevada. So definitely looking forward to that. But so then I had the top 12 superstars here. I have Sol Ruka, I see Thea Hale, Jada Parker, Brinley Reese, Mi Chin, Fallon Henry, Ivy Nile, Izzy Dame, Kaylani Jordan, Lash Legend, Tana Paxley, and Ren Sinclair. So those are the 12 women that have moved on from the Combine and will fight in qualifying matches next week in WWE NXT. And just to kind of finish it off here, we had Duke Hudson fighting against Lexis King. Lexis King picked up the victory. Obviously, he was, kind of tormenting Rich Holland and Thea Hale for kind of being like, like, hey, like, you guys can't keep your anger under control. You guys think it's going to actually help you win matches? It's not. So, Duke Hudson couldn't do what he could to defeat King. Ultimately, they lost. But the WWE NXT Women's Championship was the main event. You saw Roxanne Perez defeating Chelsea Gray. It was a clean match. It was, relatively clean. It was relatively clean. Definitely both competitors have their reputations of kind of being like heels to the point where like they're willing to do anything, including cheating, to like, help them win the title. We didn't see that happen here. Thank God. Love that. Obviously, what you saw at WWE Backlash with Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, I feel like under the Paul Levesque era, you're going to see a lot more matches, especially in terms of title matches, that are going to just be clean, well thought out, thoroughly produced inside the ring, and ultimately you're going to see the best competitor come out on top. So, love that. Very impressive. Like I said before, Chelsea Green lost, but I felt like this was kind of like a huge step in her career. Why Chelsea Green is going to be a WWE NXT Women's Division superstar that's going to basically kind of, she's going to make it up to the top. I know you saw Ariana Grace and you kind of saw her bonding. Perhaps maybe that could be the next tag team, but it wouldn't surprise me. But then you also have Piper Niven. I don't know what they're planning to do with Niven, but honestly, I would kind of like to see the tag team between Green and Grace. Green and Grace. It just works. Or Grace and Green. Whatever you guys want to, whatever you guys want to talk about, or whatever you guys want to, further elaborate on. Well, all right, we're moving on from our first segment. We're going to talk about our second segment coming up next. We have our AEW Dynamite preview. We're going to talk about all stuff AEW, everything in terms of the, Kenny Omega coming back and getting attacked by the Elite. Has an announcement to make tonight. You see, Adam Copeland defending his TNT Championship tonight, and you see you see Swerve Strickland go face to face with Christian Cage. So hey, don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna
wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit, I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant, I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. It's your boy E here, continuing talking about wrestling. Our first segment, we talked about our WWE NXT review, and segment 2, we're going to talk about our AEW Dynamite preview. But before we move on, I want to remind you guys that you can always tip and donate to the show. We get a number of questions that come in from viewers like you. So to ensure that your question gets read on air in front of all the people in the world. So make sure you use the tips and donations link. It's at the gsmcpodcast.net. And just put your questions on top so I can see it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me things that you think that you want to see as a wrestling fan. Tell me what I've talked about that has been absolutely absurd and erroneous. But ultimately, let's just have fun. This is a podcast. This is our podcast. It's your podcast just as much as it is mine. Wrestling fans, we're a different kind of breed. So our togetherness definitely puts us apart from every other sport like the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, et cetera, et cetera. So, it really does help the show, guys. A positive review. We love peace, love, and positivity at the GSMC Sports Network. And, once again, the link is at the GSMC, podcast.net with your questions. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump on into some AEW Dynamite preview. Tonight on AEW Dynamite, it's going to be live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, building momentum toward Double or Nothing. Obviously, their next pay-per-view that's happening on May 26th. And tonight we're going to see the Elite. Let's see Kazuchika Okada, also with the Young Bucks, also with Jack Perry. See if they get consequences for their actions in terms of Tony Khan. Also attacking Kenny Omega, although Kenny Omega is injured and is going to undergo surgery with his injury. So AEW president Tony Khan can't travel due to his neck and head injury, so he will be out as of tonight. Fellow EVP Kenny Omega was, although he was booted out by the Elite, he's still part of the executive vice presidents who has a creator clause. So we're all gonna find out what Kenny Omega is going to do to the EVPs tonight. Hopefully he shows the Elite who's boss. Hopefully he takes him down. Definitely something that I would love to see. And so Kenny Omega has been reported that he's not going to be able to wrestle for a very long time due to his injury, his divert cultus. But he will be back to give a big announcement tonight. Should be interesting. Should be exciting. I'm excited to definitely watch it. It's live right now. If anybody knows what's going on, you can post it up in the chat. If not, wait like my man Eric here. I'm always going to give you guys YouTube shorts, giving you guys live reactions of things that happen during these wrestling shows. So, absolutely something that you can wrap your head around, something that can, help your mind ponder and, think about questions that maybe you can put in the chat here in terms of the live broadcast. So will Kenny Omega use his EVP powers to ultimately punish the Elite? Possibly, maybe that could be what his announcement's going to be about tonight, or perhaps I was kind of speculating on this, and it's a huge damn maybe. But he's getting a little old. Kenny Omega's on the old side. He's been part of wrestling for just decades, absolutely decades. If you're a wrestling fan, and if you have not heard of Kenny Omega, then get out. No, I'm just kidding. But Kenny Omega, he's been part of the independent circuits. He's also been part of, promotions across seas like Lucha Libre. He's been part of Lucha Libre, a bunch of other like South African wrestling. He's been part of New Japan Professional Wrestling. He's just been all over the globe in terms of he's accomplished it all. He has accolades in his illustrious career that should not be overlooked. Definitely Kenny Omega is the man. It would be absolutely terrible to see him kind of retire, but I've been shocked before. I've been shocked before. Or also a possibility, could the Hangman Adam Page come out to return? It's possible. I think it's possible, but I think they're probably going to save Hangman returning for perhaps maybe like a bigger circumstantial like kind of idea. But it can happen. It can happen. So keep your eyes peeled, and keep your enemies close. What is it? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Hangman Adam Page got kicked out of the Elite. Hopefully, he serves some just desserts, perhaps. Um, so we have our TNT champion, Adam Copeland, fighting Brody King tonight for the championship belt. You saw Copeland fight Buddy Matthews last week. A little crazy what happened after the match where he had the chair. He's going to hit him with the concerto. Obviously, didn't really happen. You saw Malachi Black come out daring him to do it. A little weird, a little awkward. Adam Copeland in like absolute awe. He was like, dude, like, are you serious? This is your boy, like, right here. Like, what is you doing right now? So I definitely think that they're gonna address those issues tonight. But he took on Buddy Matthews. I feel like he's gonna defeat Brody King. And waiting at the end is the final boss, Malachi Black of House of Black. So definitely going to be some cool things to watch tonight on AEW at Dynamite live tonight. Well, not live tonight because no, I think it is live, but I think it already aired on the East Coast. But so definitely looking forward to that. Next, we have Orange Cassidy against Trent Beretta. Trent turned on Orange last month. Former best friend Chuck Taylor was taken out. They said he can't wrestle anymore. I don't know if I believe that's like total kayfabe, but they said he's not going to be able to wrestle anymore. He's out of the Don Callis family, so kind of crazy, but should be interesting. Next, we have Mariah May versus Harley Cameron. And then we see Toni Storm's next challenger, Serena Deeb, kind of like state her claim and why she feels like she's going to beat Toni Storm. And I know like she's absolutely fed up with the timeless Toni Storm, but I like Toni Storm. I feel like she's been a great AEW World Women's Champion. Definitely represented the brand pretty well. Able to put on great matches, worthy matches, and during her after her matches when they do the post conference with Tony Khan, I feel like she can back her stuff up. Like she can she can just say things. She's like the antagonist. She could say things that can like anger future challengers, anger the audience, thus causing more more and more and more publicity. Us focusing on the timeless Tony Storm. So in a way, and I've heard this before from one of my communications professors in terms of public relations. Even bad publicity can sometimes be great publicity. Publicity is publicity. And I feel like Tony Storm right now, she's definitely kind of she's paying her dues. She spent some time in WWE, wasn't as successful as, other type was. I feel like she could have lived up to more of a potential, but she's doing great right now in AEW. Definitely giving it all she got. You can see that in her matches. And I don't know. I really hope they don't take the strap away from her. But they could. They could crown a new champion at Double or Nothing. But who am I? I'm just an obsessed wrestling fan. I'm just kidding. Next we have AEW World Champ Swerve Strickland will come face to face with the man who attacked him and his crew, Patriarchy, Christian Cage. Christian Cage said a lot of crazy things, a lot of bad things. He mentioned like his family and his daughter and stuff like that. Crazy, but I love it. And I know I might sound like kind of a jerk talking about this, but that's just wrestling. That's just wrestling. If you're a wrestler trying to cut a good promo when you're in the ring, and if you don't mention someone else's family members, you're not doing your job right. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. It's gonna be great to see how Swerve Strickland reacts to Christian Cage. Ultimately, I hope he comes back and he kicks his ass. But whose house is it? Swerve's house. So next we have the Learning Tree. They have TW champion Chris Jericho and Big Bill are looking for action. There's been huge speculation that Hook and Katsuyori Shibata will answer their challenge and fight the Learning Tree and ultimately like come up with like a maybe like an FTW rules match tag team at Double or Nothing. I think that would be absolutely phenomenal if they kind of made that happen. Definitely should make that happen. Should be pretty cool. Next, we see Mercedes Moné building up momentum toward her first AEW in-ring debut competition at Double or Nothing against Willow of Nightingale. We've kind of seen this go back and forth, especially last week where Mercedes Moné ultimately, it still shows that she blamed Willow and also ultimately holds this grudge that she wants to take her out, and she still feels like Willow was the reason why she got attacked when it went pitch dark about 2 or 3 weeks ago on AEW Dynamite. So it's kind of a touchy subject. I love Sasha Banks. I love Mercedes Moné, but it's crazy how they're kind of doing this booking here. I think a lot of the fans kind of keep seeing her promos, and like I remember listening to what former WWE Raw General Manager Eric Bischoff was saying in one of his podcasts. I read an article about it, saying that like she's not doing anything. She's just saying the same stuff over and over and over again, cutting the same promo. What's the fun in that? Why bring a star of that caliber, Mercedes Moné, if you're going to make her sound like a broken record and ultimately give her on a silver platter, a chance at the TBS championship? I hope, have my hope in AEW. Don't want it to go anywhere. So hopefully this all makes some kind of crazy sense. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks, something crazy is gonna happen where Willow was like, you know what? Yeah, I took you out. I don't care, man. You're just some bam, and this like bam, and then like you're like, whoa. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm kind of hoping for, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Next, we see Will Ospreay set to fight Roderick Strong at Double or Nothing for the international AEW Championship. Should be interesting. Next, John Moxley is also looking for a fight for his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Should be crazy, but then again, absolutely entertaining to find out who's going to take on this crazy SOB because John Moxley, obviously Dean Ambrose, the Lunatic Fringe, is just coming in hard and heavy all the time. Can't stop this guy. He said the moment like he retained last week on Dynamite, he was like, all right, who's the next one? So I can punch in the face. Like, crazy. Love the guy. Love John Moxley. He's the wild thing, man. So what's Samoa Joe going to do? Samoa Joe lost his championship at Dynasty against Swerve Strickland. So what's next for Samoa Joe? It could absolutely be anything. The Samoa submission machine is honestly good in any kind of bout or any kind of storyline he's in. There's no doubt that they're probably going to put him in a match to fight at Double or Nothing. But like I said, they could be maybe giving him some more time to rest because it was confirmed that he had a little bit of an injury during his match with Swerve at Dynasty. But could be all be speculations. Like I said, sometimes I read things and I'm like, is that kayfabe? Like, why is that like? But mostly, I feel like since he's not really been broadcasted or not really advertised, well, of course, to be like you hear Tony Schiavone, he's like, next we'll hear from Samoa Joe. Like, with that, I feel like AEW is going to put him in something more than just like your regular like booking in terms of a wrestling match. I mean, I never want to see Samoa Joe in like a squash match. I feel like squash matches are disrespectful for the superstar getting squashed and the superstar doing the squashing. But then that's just my opinion. Absolutely my opinion. If you guys feel differently, hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me how you feel. And lastly, we're going to talk about potential trios challengers for the Bullet Club moving forward through this week's episode of Dynamite. And hopefully we'll get some trios to talk about tomorrow because tomorrow I will be doing my AEW Dynamite review. So hopefully we can have something set in stone, ready to talk about the Bullet Club Gold. Is absolutely crazy. The Switchblade Jay White, he seems unstoppable. Absolutely seems unstoppable. But, that's AEW, man. That's AEW. Well, guys, so far, hope you are enjoying the show. We got done with our first two segments. Next, don't go anywhere. We're going to further elaborate on if, this is a huge damn if Kenny Omega retires, AEW's popularity if Omega decides to pull the trigger, hang up the boot. So, hey, don't go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to kind of reflect on what we talked about our first segment, we talked about our WWE NXT preview. We also talked about AEW Dynamite preview. So let's go ahead and move on to our next segment. We're talking about our AEW's popularity just in case Kenny Omega retires. Definitely could be, absolutely pivotal. Could be the last nail in the coffin. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Like I said before, remember, guys, to use the tips and donations link at the GSMC podcast.net. Give me your questions. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to tell me what you want to talk about. Absolutely. I love, engagement with the audience and stuff like that. So, definitely do that. So, we can, talk about it. So let's go ahead and get on into it. So, Kenny Omega returned to AEW despite battling divert cultus, the injury that is diverticulia. Sorry, with this whole medical terms, they're kind of hard to pronounce. So it's diverticulia. Cola, like it's some kind of a different brand of Coca-Cola. No, I'm just kidding. So it's tearing that causes marble-sized pouches through the wall, through the colon wall, resulting in inflammation. Also, in some cases, infection. So Kenny Omega has to undergo surgery tonight, guys. Well, I don't know if it's tonight, but in the future, because he has to take care of this. I think I read an article where he went to the doctors, and the doctors literally told him that you were like just days away from, dying. That this, if this disease or this condition or this illness goes untreated, it can very much, cause death. It could be very, very fatal. So definitely, concerned for Kenny Omega's long-term health. Well, glad he's going out. And he's, going out and he's doing surgery and he's helping himself out. Definitely cool. So he has a long history of, serious injuries. He's had knee surgery before. He's also undergo vertigo. And he's been absent since December. He's been not cleared to wrestle. But honestly, like with all this and with this and with the, the contemplation of Kenny Omega perhaps hanging up the boots for professional wrestling, most importantly, hanging up the boots away from AEW. What does this kind of mean for AEW? Like, obviously AEW, I think I don't want to keep saying that they're hanging on by a thread, but it's kind of hard. But like I said before, we have the recent departures from AEW, including Andrade El Idolo. We've seen Brian Pillman Jr., Sean Spears, Jade Cargill. We've also seen CM Punk because the whole Jack Perry thing. And even 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, you guys lost Cody Rhodes. So it's just building up. It's not good right now for AEW with losing these superstars. Of course, you sign talents like Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay, but like you just can't replace the OGs like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like Kenny Omega, if he ever left AEW, it would be absolutely devastating. absolutely devastating. But so next I want to talk about the AEW viewing numbers from 2019 when they started. So in 2019, their average viewership was 950,000 people. During 2020, and you can't really be too skeptical about this because it was during COVID, it was 780,000 viewers. In 2021, perhaps their best year, and although from May 2021 to late June 2021, they averaged 500,000 viewers due to airings on the East Coast being at 10 p.m. That's a little, that's a little too late. But from July to October, they averaged at least 1 million viewers per show. So, definitely pretty big. In 2022, you saw their debut to Turner Television and TBS, which they went back up to their original 950,000 viewers. In 2023, kind of took a little hit, 890,000. In 2024, we are down to 775,000 viewers. Of course, these are just averages and stuff like that, not exact numbers. So don't don't be like this guy's full of crap. These are just not guesstimations because I've obviously done research and stuff like that. But this is just like the main gist. This is what kind of what AEW is kind of doing right now in terms of viewership. And it's not bad. It's not bad. And honestly, if they compare themselves to their other competitors, obviously WWE is absolutely out. They're hot. They're on fire right now. But Impact Wrestling, they're averaging, I think right now, about 60,000 viewers, which is I grew up watching Impact Wrestling, TNA Impact. And to be honest, it kind of does break my heart a little bit. But like what happened to WCW, you had, bad managing, bad creative. You had old superstars. You put the reins inside of the superstars you put the responsibilities of the general manager within the superstars, and it's just bad. And you've obviously, like, if you're a sports fan, you kind of see with LeBron James when he made it to the Lakers, and he would just bring people after people after people. He brought in Russell Westbrook, he brought in Carmelo Anthony, he brought in Rajon Rondo, and it's just like, dude, like, just be the player. Be the person, be all you can be on the court. Don't really focus on bringing your buddies in. Don't think that like absolutely more than, coaches do because you see LeBron James barking at his coaches absolutely constantly, all the time, all the time. But, there's a good balance of, between that because on the other spectrum of it, you could have a highly, egotistical coach or GM, kind of like Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, who won't even listen to their players and stuff like that. Ultimately, that's the reason why Tom Brady left, was because he didn't really feel respected and he didn't really felt hurt. Although Jimmy Garoppolo was let go ultimately because Tom Brady felt not threatened because he's the GOAT, but kind of like, hey, why are you drafting my replacement for? I got like 10 more years of this stuff. But there's an even keel. There's a amount of respect that you need to give toward your superiors, and as a superior, there's an amount of respect you can give toward the people working under you. So life is about respect, people. Life is about respect. Respect is given when respect is shown. That was something I was always taught. So yeah, we saw Kenny Omega had an amazing match against MJF for the title, and it strangely was not on pay-per-view, although it was a great title match. A lot of people kind of speculated that this could also be another problem for AEW, is that they don't really know how to book. Why put a match of this caliber on a live TV show? Like, okay, yeah, it's cool. Everybody could watch it. It's on cable television. As a wrestling fan, you're like, yeah, but on the business side, you're kind of like, you should have put down on pay-per-view. Would have got some viewers and some money, but ultimately didn't really work out like that. So, definitely something they could have picked up on that the most. Like I said before, most wrestling fans, they keep really in touch in weekly shows, but they honestly love to tune into their pay-per-views the most. This was obvious speculation that it was a main event. It was a pay-per-view worthy match. Didn't really go out. So bad bookings. Also, you also have to think about the disappearance of cable. Right now, cable TV is at its all-time low. Yeah, people going to YouTube or going toward other streaming services for news, documentaries, movies, TV shows, sports, for example. You have to think that we also had about 500 million people abandon cable TV every single year since 2000 since 2000, I think 17 was when Netflix was no, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But, definitely crazy. Definitely, definitely something that definitely played into the whole reason why AEW is definitely kind of like at its like last fringe. You know what I mean? But Netflix, WWE's new destination, Sling TV, etc., has replaced cable. Why? It's obvious. No commercials, on demand whenever you want. Create a playlist. It just the app caters to you. It's honestly, it's come to the point where at first, I loved cable. I didn't want to get rid of it, and my wife was like, why do we even have cable? Let's just get YouTube TV." I was like, "All right, yeah, let's do it." But I live on the West Coast, lost Valley Sports Southwest to watch my Angels games. Guess what's not on YouTube TV? Valley Sports. Like I can't watch any baseball games. Like, of course, like you can see some on, ESPN, but it's not the Angels. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so definitely something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I know I'm just like, I seem like just an obsessed Angels fan, and they're like, "Hey, the Angels, who cares?" I care, not. But definitely something that Netflix is doing right now. Like I said, WWE's new destination ahead, and Netflix has subscribers in the hundreds of millions worldwide, and over 12 billion hours of content streamed each year. Crazy. Definitely crazy. Once again, you got to tip your hat to WWE for reaching out to this conglomerate, creating a partnership, and having them air Monday Night Raw episodes, because it's definitely going to be huge. Absolutely, 110%. It's going to be huge on Netflix. I think WWE is just going to get more and more popular. But so AEW is not too far behind. Something smart that they really did was that they have a streaming partner, a streaming services partner in the Wix, formerly known as HBO Max. Warner Brothers Discovery will be taking AEW shows and perhaps AEW pay-per-views. So yeah, honestly, throughout, I guess, advertisements for HBO Max and Warner Brothers Discovery, they're going to show ads to not subscribe to, but just try to promote the AEW product in itself. You saw the WBD, the Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav, who's very happy with the product. He loves AEW. He thinks, on TNT, on TBS, they have great shows. So honestly, I just think it's perfect thing for AEW kind of to do that. You saw WWE do it with the WWE Network first. When the WWE Network first came out, I gotta be honest, I was a little cynical about it. But the fact that you don't have to separately pay for pay-per-views, which they charge an arm and a leg for, is actually, pretty damn smart. Pretty damn smart, because ultimately you have all these subscribers coming in. You're giving them good content. They're going to keep coming back and back and back. So, which I feel like the AEW's, this is definitely something that's kind of like an ace in their pocket, kind of like an ace in the hole. This is definitely, like I said, if they put the pay-per-views on HBO Max, kind of like the way Peacock does for WWE. It's just only going to make AEW a lot better, more successful, and kind of keep them in this fight of professional wrestling. So, yeah, definitely hoping the best to see what happens in terms of AEW. I'm a huge AEW fan, and I know people are like, "Dude, what are you talking about? You crap on them all the time." Yeah, but at the same time, like, I do, like, you know what I mean? Like when you're a parent, and you obviously you tell your kids, or like if you're a boss, talk to your employees that you respect the most, that you want to see them do better because you want them to succeed, man. I don't want to see you going anywhere. And then they're like, "Why is there bitch, why is it been like crapping on me that I'm the hardest worker here?" Like, what I mean? It's just all out of respect, just all out of love. I love, I get too crazy because I care. So yeah. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. Tonight we have another edition of Hot Seat Cool Beans. This one's going to be about the WWE NXT World, North American Champion. So obviously, I'm going to say hot seat for the superstars that are under the most, under the most pressure to win this championship to kind of propel their careers. And I'm going to say cool beans to some that, if they win, cool. If they don't, you're kind of right where you have to be. you probably will get a chance at this title along the line because they're going to be, as soon as this champion is crowned, they're going to be looking for competitors. So, definitely something to kind of hold back on. Maybe someone finds himself in the NXT Women's World Championship title bout, heading more toward, all the other pay-per-views that are going to happen during the summer. So, hey, stay tuned.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about. Our first segment, we talked about our WWE NXT review, then moved on to our AEW Dynamite preview tonight, live tonight in Edmonton, Canada. And we kind of moved on to see what would happen to AEW if Kenny Omega ultimately retired, and what AEW is kind of in the mix, in the works right now of trying to become a better company, more appealing to the consumer, keeping them around ultimately, as one of the most dominant wrestling organizations, promotions, besides WWE, because right now WWE is, going to be pretty hard to take down. I don't know if they already, if I was the general manager of AEW, I'd be like, dude, honestly, at this point, I don't care about WWE. There's no way we can, there's no way we can get as much like viewers and not sell out merchandise. Kind of like the UFL is with the NFL right now. You kind of, it's not like you're accepting defeat, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, that's loser talk, but sometimes you just sometimes you have to be complacent. And where you are right now, you kind of have to be appreciative for what you have and not try to go out and want more, because ultimately that could ultimately end your promotion. That can end your business if you go out thinking that you can get more. Turns out you put your business more in jeopardy trying to gain more. So sometimes you should just be happy for what you have. Let that be the lesson. That's the moral story of tonight, is just be grateful for what you have. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Why is it doing that? It's because I haven't turned on the. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna start off with, what do we have here? Oh yeah.
And now, it's time,
right. It's time for hot seat cool
sizzling
beans.
or
Hot seat cool beans. So let's go ahead and get this started today. So we're gonna go on with our first person. We have Ren. Damn it, I don't have her thing right here. I knew her name. I swear to you guys. One of the 12 superstars that are going to fight for the ladder match. Perhaps, definitely Ren Sinclair. Damn it. I knew it. So, God, I hate how when you get old and stuff like that. But, sorry, guys. So I kind of see this as an opportunity for Ren Sinclair to kind of like what Chelsea Green did tonight on AEW, is to ultimately kind of like use this as an excuse to not necessarily
cool, man.
Win. And I know that sounds really bad, but even if you lose, you kind of win. Like, you get that experience inside of the ring. You get to showcase your abilities to the WWE universe. Perhaps, like I said before, this could, propel herself into a potential match with the new NXT Women's North American Champion. All right, next we have Ivy Nile. Love Ivy Nile, and honestly, I'm gonna say right now she's cool.
Man.
She's cool because I feel like she's heading toward kind of like the tag team division with Maxine Dupree. Right now she's still with the Creed brothers, not necessarily pushed for singles competition just yet. But I've kind of talked about in WWE before. I'm like, why don't you let these superstars be superstars? And if you want to push them as single stars, like, that's cool and everything. But we've seen in the past that sometimes you tear up like a tag team, where you push someone to be a single superstar that's not ready to be pushed. They ultimately kind of bite the wagon, kind of like a Jason Jordan kind of thing. So Ivy Nile, love her, definitely see potential in her, but I don't see it going on any further there. And next we have Fallon Henley, I believe. Definitely feel like that she did a really good job on this week's NXT. Definitely going to be pretty awesome. She deserves like the best, but I don't see her really going. I don't know. She's been talking a lot of crap. She's especially on the last episode of NXT. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say right now
It's
behind her. I feel like
sizzling.
she needs to kind of prove herself. If you're gonna go out there and talk your crap, man, you're gonna talk your shiz, then you got to back it up. I'm sorry, that's just kind of how it goes, and that's just how I was kind of raised. So yeah, all right. Next we have Kaylani Jordan. Kaylani Jordan, I feel like she can definitely be um, like something more than she is right now. But honestly, I think she's
Yo, it's
great. But I'm
cool,
gonna say
man.
right
It's
now,
all
it's
cool,
it's kind of
man.
mellow. It's kind of mellow. It's not too crazy. It's not too the pressure's not really on. It's not really sizzling. But if she wins, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. But ultimately, I feel like right now, where she's at right now, kind of like playing that that underdog, ready to like shock the world and maybe win a title, or maybe dethrone the person who wins this tournament at a future date and in terms of the pay-per-view. So, definitely something pretty cool. Next, we have Lash Legend. Something that I didn't really know about Lash Legend. I guess she was a former WNBA player. So, a newfound respect for Lash Legend. But I'm gonna say right now,
It's
it's
cool,
if she
man.
if
It's
she
all
loses, it's
cool,
not gonna be such a big
man.
deal. Right now, she's kind of doing her thing with Metaphor. The whole thing with Noam Dar and Trick Williams, and I don't know how they're going to unpack that. But I really see no pressure for her to win this championship. It would be great, and by all means, whenever I say like these girls are cool or whatever, they're cool beans. I'm not like trying to condone them to be like, okay, this person's a loser, so they're not going to represent the brand pretty well. It's kind of I'm just trying to be realistic here. I'm just trying to be realistic of where they're going to be, how they're going to be it, because at the same time, if you push a superstar and put a belt on them that they don't seem like they're ready for, and also that they don't really have the kind of like the on-screen attitude for, it just blows up in their face. It blows up in the company's face, the organization, the promoting, the marketing, and ultimately the superstar in itself. It could cause the demise of someone's career. So yeah. All right. Next we have Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley turned her back on Lyra Valkyria at NXT. No, I think it was on an episode of Dynamite. It was no, not Dynamite. It was on an episode of NXT. So I can, you know what? I kind of feel like it's just because the way she was talking to
It's
Lyra Valkyrie about the whole thing,
sizzling.
I feel like she says she's in love, she's infatuated, she's obsessed with the WWE NXT Women's World Championship. So honestly, if you put it out there that you want it, you kind of you got to do your best to do whatever it takes to win it. So I feel like Tatum Paxley has some pressure on her. It's sizzling right now. Absolutely, 110%. It's sizzling. So yeah. And next we have Thea Hale. Thea Hale, she's a great superstar. Right now she's with Chase U. She has so many. This superstar in general kind of has a lot of outs. Like she's doing her feud with JC Jane. I think she was recently challenged again, and now she has her feud with Fallon Henley, and things that are going on with Ridge Holland and you know Lexis King. I just think right now putting the strap on her would be, kind of a distraction because I feel like her career and her storyline is kind of going in the right direction right now. So honestly, I'm gonna say she's cool.
It's
I'm gonna say
cool,
she's cool.
man.
Not
It's
too much
all
pressure.
cool,
Not too much
man.
pressure on Thea Hale. But would love to see her win. I would love to see any of these girls win the championship. So, definitely something that's awesome. And next we have who's the next one? Next we have Brinley Reese. Brinley Reese. To be honest, guys, this is kind of like, and I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything like that, but honestly, it's
It's
cool. She's
cool,
not really
man. It's all
expected to kind of
cool,
be part of it.
man.
Will she be in the ladder match at the UFC Apex Center? Maybe, perhaps, but ultimately, I can kind of see like this girl like kind of taking a step back, and yeah, honestly, I don't think it would be smart for WWE to kind of push her any further than a first round exit. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, not trying to be a jerk, But, I'm just trying to be a realist here. All right, next we have Jada Parker. Jada Parker, you saw her, you know, in the back, completely frustrated with Fallon Henley. But honestly, I think this is a superstar
It's
as well. Like she also did
sizzling.
play in the WNBA too. So, like I said, newfound respect. But I think she does have pressure. You know what I mean? Like she's been part of this. She's been part of the NXT roster for so long. I feel like. Well, not so long because a lot of these superstars do get called up to Raw or SmackDown. So when I say so long, I would say probably like a year, but I think she's a great competitor. I think she's ready to hold the championship. Definitely be one of those champions that are like gonna go out there every night, put up open challenges and stuff like that, which would be pretty badass. Which would be pretty badass. So, definitely want to see that more. Next we have Michin. Michin, love Michin, part of the OC, the Good Brothers and stuff like that. But honestly, I see her
Yo, it's
making it
cool, man. It's all
to
cool,
the
man.
6-pack ladder match, but ultimately I don't think she's gonna be the North American Women's Champion. Especially, we're kind of we have Roxanne Perez as the NXT Women's Heavyweight Champion. So I feel like ultimately this championship holder will be like the most biggest baby face in the whole entire world. So honestly, I love Michin. I don't think she's ready for it yet. But like I said, then also we have. Oh, I think I mistaked Izzy Dane for Fallon Henry. Sorry, Fallon, but we already talked about Fallon Henley. I don't think she's ready to hold on to the championship, but I'm going to still say sizzling
It's
because, like I said, if you
sizzling.
talk your stuff, you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk, bro. So, yeah, moving on from there. Next we have Sol Ruka, and I say Sol Ruka for last because ultimately I feel like this is probably going to be
It's
one of the people
sizzling.
that will either win the match, the 6-pack ladder match at WWE NXT Battleground. So, it's not like, definitely rooting for whoever makes a good champion. Definitely rooting for whoever makes a great champion. But like I said before on prior podcasts, I feel like the way they're handling Soruka in terms of creative operations in the WWE, I feel like they're kind of saving her for a moment like this. You saw the WWE Women's North American Championship get unveiled. We need an inaugural champion, and Soruka, if she didn't get injured, I feel like the momentum she would have had, it took a little break. Injuries suck. They happen. You come back better and stronger than ever. And Soruka has proven that fact. And just that proof in itself just proves that she can hold on to a championship. So definitely think she's going to be the next WWE NXT North American Women's Champion. Kind of rooting for her. I think it'd be great. Definitely, if I was the GM of WWE, I would definitely, hold them more accountable to her. It's I don't want to sound like a jerk. I know I keep reiterating that, but I think it's her title to lose. I think it's her title to lose. It's going to be a great ladder match. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to happen May 26th. May 26th. Or June 9th. May 26th. I think that's Double or Nothing. Don't quote me on that. So, hey guys, once again, thank you for tuning into my show, the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to hit Superman Punch that like and subscribe button to the show, and it really does make a difference, guys. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Leave a positive review here at the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. We love peace, love, and positivity all the way. And once again, guys, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, remember here at the GSMC Sports Network, we offer free sports shows so you can, stay up to date with all the cool stuff that's happening in the sports entertaining world. We have Kenneth on football, Nelson on basketball. The NBA playoffs are heating up. We have Sam with baseball, Jeremy, TJ on sports. So yeah, guys, just go ahead and join the fray. We have the Andrew Tate Show. It just the list goes on and on and on here at the GSMC Sports Network. Join our bloodline, join the best, because the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast is definitely part of the best sports broadcasting network in the world. So definitely feel honored to be part of this company. So check out all the other shows. So thank you once again, and have a phenomenal day.
I don't want to go to Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired.